Okay. Let's do this, man. Let's get this party started. Good morning to everybody. I am motivated. I'm on fire for God and life. It's a wonderful day. Let's rise up and give God the glory. Let's see here. All right. All right. We see Facebook has come in, waiting on Instagram. And I assume YouTube is alive and well. As a matter of fact, you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Real Talk with the Bishop, and there you can see me. Good morning, Sean. Good morning. All right, let's come on in. We're gonna get going here. As we say, we're gonna get the party started. Let's do this thing. If we're gonna do it right. Good morning, Gerald. Good morning. All right, you all. Let's here we go. Facebook is live. Real Talk with the Bishop. Good morning, Deborah King. James Dunnigan, give you all a second or two. We're going to get going here. Shirley Pickett, Johnny Beckton. They're coming in. All right, waiting on Instagram. And we'll get out of the way once we get a few of you all on. All right, let's get started. They'll catch up. Let's let them catch up today. All right. I spend my mornings, as always, with the Lord, but also I have my devotion. I establish, the path I take in the morning as relates to direction I'm going. Hey, Tiffany, good morning to you. Evelyn Nichols, good morning to you. I'm very intentional in terms of what I do, my days. I intend to be blessed. It's not saying that stuff don't happen to me. It happens to all of us. But I make a decision, and I'm even more so now as I've gotten older, make a decision to take care of me and look out for me and own my peace, own my destiny. I've been a servant more definitively when I got saved. I was a servant even as a young man, but more definitively when I gave my life to God. I just realized how important it is to serve. So here we go. So with that in mind, and I look at the path I've taken by the grace of God, there are things that I've done that God's blessed me to do to produce the harvest that I'm experiencing. All right. And I talked to you all Monday about God's guaranteed harvest. We're going to talk about that today. There's 6 steps. I'm going to give you 2 today. 6 steps we must take. Hear me today. We must take to guarantee our harvest will come to pass. Well, I felt the breath of God. Listen, let me say it again. There are 6 steps, and you can come up with 10, 12, I don't know, whatever the case. I'm going to give you 6, 2 of those 6 today. 6 steps, again, we must take to guarantee our harvest will come to pass. It's not osmosis or some, you're not lucky. You got to be intentional. You have to decide that I'm going to walk in my harvest. I'm going to do the things necessary to achieve my harvest. That's real talk. All right. So number 1, here it is. The first step is strive to never choose against God or against the commandments of God. Step number 1, strive. I said strive to never choose against the commandments of God. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. All of us have at some point in time in our walk have chosen our choices over God's choices. But what you don't want to do is spend the bulk of your life resisting God, resisting God's will. And then because, later on in life, you look at opportunities that you've missed. And I'm here to tell you that God has already orchestrated and outlined certain steps. However, you got to remember this, okay? Joshua, he says in Joshua 22:5, it says, but take careful heed to do the commandment and the law which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to keep his commandments, to hold fast to him, to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. Now, what did he say? He says, be careful to take heed to the commandment. So the word commandment is a legal term, and I shared it the other day. It's a legal term. It's a term that is used in our legal systems. It's called an injunction. All right. An injunction is defined as a court order that requires somebody involved in a legal action to do something or refrain from doing something. It's an injunction. It simply says that this is the court order of God. So when God uses the word commandment or command, it is a legal term, and it is a derivative of the highest court in the universe. Not just the Supreme Court or some local court or some appellate court. No, this is coming from the Judge of Judges. Now, you all know how we do if we've gone to court. We respect the judge. Man, if you go to court, they say cut the cell phones off. Don't be talking. If you're disruptive, brother, you could be held in contempt. That word contempt means to be disrespectful. All right. So the Lord said to us, be careful, take heed to do the commandment, to do what the law says, what I prescribe. You can't go wrong. Hear me. You can't go wrong when you follow and you submit to the injunction or the commandment of God. So, and again, you got to strive against choosing to go against God's commandments. And it's a difficult path because sometimes your emotions and all the above gets in the way and trouble hits your life and you finna figure out what to do. And hey, listen, learn and say, okay, yes to God. You don't have to understand. Obedience is never understanding. At least it's later on down the road, but it's never predicated on you understanding in the moment. No, it's about you believing that I was born to be blessed and I got to go after my harvest and I need God to help me with that. Number 2, follow the path of God's instruction for sowing. Here we go. Follow the path of God's instruction for sowing. And unfortunately, many do not. Many do not. Luke 6:38 says, given it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. With the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. Now, this particular text, Jesus said, give, and the word give means to bring forth or to deliver up. Hello, somebody. To bring forth, to deliver, or it means to grant. So when you give something, you're presenting something, you're granting something. Hello, somebody. You're committing to something, you're bringing something forth. He says, and when you do that, it shall be given unto you. So you won't or will not receive until you bring something forth. You got to grant something. Hello, somebody. I'm teaching real good today. The word give means you got to permit something, okay? So now, this is important because here's the deal. He says, it'll be given unto you how? Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom or your lap. So what is that word? The word bosom means lap. So when you do the research, lap refers to the fold, listen to this, in the garment used as a pocket or pouch. So in the Eastern markets to this day, vendors may be seen pouring the contents of a measure into the bosom of a purchaser of it. So in that environment, they wore what we call an apron, but really it was a material that was strapped around their waist. It was an apron, for lack of a better expression, but it had a pouch. So when they would go to buy meal and grain, the person who has the product would pour the meal or grain into their pouch. So the smaller your pouch, the smaller your lap. Hello, somebody. That means that you're going to get back what you've given. There's an exchange that takes place. There's a trade-off. So in other words, he says that the same measure that you give, the same measure will be given back to you. Here's the point I want to make. The measure or degree of your giving, the quantity and the quality of your giving. All right. The word bosom suggests that God will pour or repay a person through others. That's what it means, that God is going to repay you through others. But here, check this out. The paying comes as a result of you giving. So I looked up and I thought about this. It's called the law of reciprocity. So what does that mean? The law of reciprocity states that when people receive something, they feel compelled to return the favor in kind. My God. When it says that when you receive something, you give something. All right. So he says he gives seed to the heart, to the soul. The seed. Every seed comes with an invisible instruction. Every seed has instructions. My Lord. Every seed. Apples, oranges, lemons, tomatoes, wherever there are seeds always come with instructions, you all. And so he says, while the earth remains, there'll be seed, time and harvest, cold and winter, cold heat, winter and summer, day and night. He says, while the earth remains, so there'll be seed time and harvest. So here's the deal. We're talking about in this instance, God's instructions for sowing. There's instructions he gives us when it comes to sowing. All right. And the liberal giver shall be made fat. Freely you receive, freely you give. Hello, somebody. The thought is that if you're going to flow in true prosperity and walk in your harvest, you have to give. You have to give. It's no trick. This is no, gimmick or game. The preacher trying to get something out of me. Oh, no, bump all that. Man, I've been around church so long and I've been in all kind of money lines. I've given all kind of money. And I don't regret it, because what I was doing, I was sowing forward. Now I'm walking in that. I'm seeing the favor of God. I am witnessing the hand of God upon my life that I got for never imagined. But it comes down to me recognizing that I have to make sure that I follow God's instructions. I mean, what do you have to lose? You tried it your way. You tried it. You do your own little thing and it hasn't worked. Why not try God? And so I want to close today as we're talking about God's guaranteed harvest, you all. The rules are still the same. They haven't changed. I know the economy is bad. Gas is up, food is. I got all that. Listen, I understand that. I know you know that dollar can only go so far. I understand you got $1, and that dollar, I'm using $1 as a point of reference, but that dollar now is being cut in such a way that it's affecting your faith and your trust in God. Because a percentage of that dollar now got to go to high gas prices, high food prices. I mean, the list goes on and on. But guess what? If you're going to walk in God's guaranteed harvest, you got to follow the law, what is written. And I got this. I understand that just a few of y'all are going to get this. Just a few of you going to get this. Just a few. About 25%. But let it be said, you're in the 25%. Just a fourth of you all. And I don't know about you all, but I'm in the upper echelon of the fourth. Hello, somebody. I'm in that upper echelon. He says the liberal giver shall be made fat. The liberal giver. God will never bless a stingy person. You're stingy, not just in money. You're stingy in grace. You're stingy in loving people. You're stingy in concern. You're stingy in serving. Stingy people live a stingy life. Always got some restraints, some skepticism, something, always something that what stingy people do. But when you are a giver, you do it because it's a place it's where you live. It's your existence. You don't even count it. You just do it. Y'all be blessed. Let's walk in your harvest. You got to give and sow forward, because when you get to that place, when you get to that place, God will meet you there. All right, let me go because somebody's trying to call me. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.